Hello, beer tubers, and welcome to yet another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppets. Introducing you guys to Hazy Bear Brewing from Denmark. And you might wonder why I have a tissue on the table. It's because we got a situation with the can with wax on the bottom, and I want things to look right for the thumbnail. So I poured everything in the glass, and then I wanted a picture of the can upside down because the label is also upside down, so it looks all waxed up. So we got a few stains to take care of. But we got a can. I'm just going to try it so we don't drip everywhere. I also could put it the other way around because I got layover footage, so who cares? But this is from Hazy Bear. So Hazy Bear Brewing is a somewhat new Danish brewery. I can just put that there. Somewhat new. So originally it was a contract brewery, Jeppe, who is the brewer there, and I guess the owner. I don't know if actually there are more owners than him. But he was a contract brewer originally at Handwerk in Aarhus. And for a long time, he's wanting to do his own craft brewery, and he's finally opened his doors just outside of Aarhus. And they are starting to release some beers. They've done a few hazies. They've done a cold IPA. And then this beer, which is a big stout. And I know they're also planning, well, they actually just brewed a West Coast Pilsner, which is awesome. So it sounds really cool, lots of stuff going on. And so far, from my experience just talking to him, it seems like this is a guy who wants to do really great stuff. So I actually got this beer from Hazy Bear, and I got this beer from Jeppe. I want to say that, of course. So this is a video where I got the beer from the brewery. But the reason why I got this is because I specifically asked him if I could have a can. And I rarely do that. But I did because I wanted to make a video on it, because I think this is a beer that deserves some attention, especially on the Danish beer scene, with not a lot of big barrel-aged stouts coming out. Well, there's more and more these days, but it seems like it's been a bit of a desert with only pretty much Aroma who's doing some really good stuff, and then it's been like whatever. But I was at a beer festival on Fanø Strong Beer Festival, and Jeppe poured this, and I was pretty amazed by it on tap. I was quite a few beers in, but I was like, wow, this is the best coconut character I've had on a stout from Denmark at all. So I was like, dude, you have to send me a can. So he did, which was awesome. Thanks a ton, Jeppe. So yeah, let's dive into Pastry Planet. First off, amazing design on this. This planet, it reminds me of something out of Cuphead. I really, really dig the artwork on this. So this Pastry Stout is aged in barrels and with a lot of fun adjuncts. So it's 12%, and this is a pretty fun one. So it consists of, we got the info here, of a beer that was aged in rye whiskey barrels for 20 months. And then after that, it was blended with a small portion of imperial stout that they boiled for 6 hours to make a really big, like, mouthfeel and a rich beer to blend in to give the barrel-aged beer a bit of body. And then it says here fat molasses-like body. And then they conditioned it on toasted coconut, vanilla beans from Borneo, Madagascar, and hand-picked coffee and cacao nibs for a big pastry stout. And one of the things with like this beer, upon its release, it's gotten a lot of shit and it's got a lot of praise. And the people that mainly have given it shit is people who are used to drinking big hype stouts from the States, for example. And that's okay. Of course, you have to compare to the best you've gotten. But I think a lot of people have been really harsh on it, unfairly. Just because, it's the first beer this brewery does like this. And having it on draft, I was like, this is great for what it is. Like, it's not the best in the world, but for Denmark, it is up there. So before we dive into all that, I think we should try the beer first and see if it's still as good in the can as it was on draft. So pours out, and of course, big thanks to Jeppe for the beer and saying, yes, I'll send you a can. So pours out a pitch black color in the glass. Looks like a nice big stout. It's got a beige head. Surprisingly, when I popped the can, it sounded really fizzy. Which was interesting. So I'm happy I have to do layover shots and whatnot, so some of the CO2 can maybe die down in the glass. But we'll see if it's heavily carbonated or not. But it looks really nice in the glass, rich and black. Let's check out the aroma. I don't get why people are saying they don't smell coconut. That's the first thing I pick up on. It's coconut. It's really chocolatey too. Really chocolatey. I think it's really the coconut is so on tap. This was what I got as well. Really milky, coconutty, toasty, and then kind of like it's not this in some of the big Anchorage beers. You get this nuance of dream cake, Danish drømmekage, which has a caramelized coconut top, and you're getting nuances of that in those. This is not all the way there, but it has like a milky sweetness, which I think it's coconut. And I also think like a lot of times, most Danish beer drinkers, I don't think they're that used to what real coconut smells and tastes like in beer, especially when it's toasted. It gives umami. Like it's not what you're used to, that like fake fragrant coconut that you're used to. Like most shelf shelf beer. Oh my god, my English. Most shelf beers in Denmark with coconut from around Europe and whatnot are with flavorings, and you can smell it instantly. And people are used to that as the coconut flavor, I guess. And then they're looking for that in here, and then what you get is more like this umami, almost like lightly buttery, caramelized kind of note with a soft undercurrent of coconut. Like the coconut's there. It's not like screaming in your face, but it's there, paired with some vanilla. And that's what I got on tap. I totally smell coconut, but it's not like jumping at me. And I actually think it's the most forward aroma. Like a milky coconut. It's really interesting. Like, I don't know why people are not picking up on that, but I clearly see it. I get less coffee, and I get less... Yeah, I think coffee is the main thing that's the least dominant. It's definitely... It's soft, but there is some there. I think the most dominant is definitely a chocolatey, coconutty, vanilla thing. But the one thing I will agree on, that everyone said, the barrel on the aroma is lacking, and maybe also on the flavor. There's not a lot of barrel character. It's most of the adjuncts that are shining. But it smells really good. There's like this caramelized, buttery, like coconut thing, which is really nice. And chocolatey. And I saw a friend of mine say that it smelled like Nesquik. And I can see that like milk chocolatey, cocoa powder type thing. I think it smells really good. So let's give it a taste. Cheers. And thanks, Jeppe, for the beer. Compared to other Danish pastry stouts, this takes the cake. There's so few Danish pastry stouts that taste like this. Like, I'm on the camp of this is a great beer, and this is an awesome first attempt at doing something like this. 100%. But I'm also in the camp, the barrel character's lacking, it could be richer, all this, comparing to Big Hype. Because I've drunk a lot of Big Hype beers and crazy stouts and whatnot, if you compare to that. But a lot of people also really shat on it, because it's not like that. And it's like, hold your horses, folks. This is the brewery's first pastry stout. Give him some cred, and give him some cred for making a beer better than pretty much most other breweries in the country attempting making pastry stouts, and actually using real adjuncts and not fake flavorings. I mean, come on. This is such an expensive beer to make. It's their first attempt, and they went all in. And hats off to that, like actually trying to get it done. And I can totally see that the barrel is lacking. Maybe that's because they blended in fresh beer. There's so many things. It could be so many things. You have a 20-month age beer, you think that's going to have a lot of barrel character. Then you add adjuncts, and then you add more beer. And I've tried blending non-barrel aged beer into barrel aged beer, and it really disrupts the character of the barrel. I've also seen some people critique, it's just because it's got adjuncts. No, you can definitely do an adjunct heavy beer with, lots of barrel character still. I've tasted numerous of beers like that. It just depends on the barrel you're using, the design of the recipe, and of course, like a lot of brewers in the States, they design for an adjunct when they design a recipe, or for some adjuncts, at least quite often. So that's part of it as well. But to say that it's like, wow, it's so overrated, oh shit, it's like, come on, this is a fucking great pastry stout. But yeah, I think it's really nice. It's quite rich. It's full. There is a dryness on the back that is a little bit oaky, but I couldn't say like, oh, that's like a rye barrel. But yeah, flavors. It's got that like Nesquik-y, chocolatey vibe. I totally see that. Milk chocolate. It's got the umami type coconut. It could use more, but it's definitely there. There is soft vanilla. There's chocolate. I don't really know about the coffee. Like, that's not really a flavor that jumps out at me. The sweetness on this is quite balanced. I don't think it's like too sweet. It has like enough dryness in the finish for it not to be too sweet. And yeah, there's charriness to it. There is like that dry, slight oaky thing on the back. But the adjuncts really shine, which is what often these kind of beers are about. But it's never too sweet or too cloying or anything, which is nice. But rating wise, really good first attempt at a barrel-aged pastry stout or a pastry stout. Could use more barrel, could use a bit more adjunct flavor. A base could be better. There's many things that could be better. But for a first attempt, I think this is really good. So yeah, like a 90 or 91, something like that. Early 90s. Really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. Shows a lot of promise for this brewery, I think. And I'm really excited to follow Hazy Bear and see what they're going to be doing with barrel aging and adjuncts and all this, and see what the guys are doing, because we don't have a lot of breweries like in Denmark. A lot of breweries that get a lot of attention are in Zealand and Copenhagen. We don't have that many that get a lot of attention in Jutland, which is where I'm based. So it's nice to get some more breweries that get more attention over here as well. And I'm not just saying that because they're from Jutland. I mean, it is nice to see all of the country represented in beer. And frankly, I mean, this is a really good job, especially again for a first pastry stout. But yeah, very nice stuff. If you guys had a chance to try Pastry Planet from Hazy Bear, let me know what you thought of it. Thanks a ton to Jeppe for the beer. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram, and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I want to say cheers and see you guys in another beer review.